his speech, the Philippine perspectives on other nations' policies in the presence of Russian President Vladimir Putin and other world leaders at the Valdai Forum. As the first ever Filipino leader executive invited to the prestigious gathering, President Duterte pointed out how the international community creates rules for almost everyone, but some refuse to be bound by them. He was blunt about human rights protection being empowered without regard to the actual adverse consequences to people they seek to protect. Take a look.
In its own way, this is the same line for nations. Developing countries like the Philippines, with their own histories, face different challenges and inner problems that would require different sets of solutions. Yet some so-called friends, act like they know the answers to our problems and impervious to our specific socio-economic and political conditions. They create rules and norms for almost everyone, and some refuse to be bound by the same. Think of the UNCLOS, the Paris Agreement on Climate Change, and even the Convention of the Rights of the Child. They weaponize human rights, oblivious to its damaging consequences to the very people they seek to protect. Just look at the chaos and instability that ensued in Libya and Iraq following military interventions. Closer home, some of our partners have heard unfair criticism against my government about perceived excesses in our fight against drugs. They see what they want to see to justify the preconceived notions and are trying to understand that what truly is happening is there in my country. Is this how friends treat each other? We have not seen them backtrack from defense contracts over baseless apprehensions that we would use arms to violate human rights. Yet you see the same countries supplying high-end weaponry to parties whose actual human rights records leave so much to be desired.
He also clarified that he's not against the United States, given its deep ties and shared history with the Filipino people. Again, let's listen in.
Let me be very clear. I am not against the United States or the West. The U.S. is a close friend of the Philippines. In fact, our only treaty ally. We have deep ties with the American people, forged by shared history and nourished by common values. America certainly can offer so much, more than the world. Let me stress, I am not against liberalism in politics and in the economy. Liberalism, to my mind, creates the best pathways to a just and fair society. For a thriving democracy like the Philippines, there is simply no other better alternative to a philosophy that puts premium on the freedom and dignity of the individual. Our issue is not the current global order, but rather the actions of certain actors that violate the very principles that underpin this order. The Philippines does not ask for a special treatment, nor favors from its partners. It does not seek exemption from the norms and principles that have kept the peace in our world for decades. What we seek, I assume, what the Russian people and all nations also desire, is fairness, equality, and mutual respect. We want a strengthened rules-based order where countries, big or small, are treated the same.